5, 6, 7. 7 books. I can't count. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a August wrap-up. I don't know why I never do monthly wrap-ups, but I am gonna get ready to go out anyway, so I figured I might as well just do like a match, like get ready with me / August wrap-up. Alright, the first book I read in August was Adventures of Amina El-Serfai. I can never pronounce the last name. You'd think as an ethnic person I would be better at pronouncing names, but I'm not. We met Amina through our book club, Buttercup Book Club, that everyone with us on to reads. This book was so good. I am already like a longtime fan of Shannon talking about these books, but Amina, for me, like, dare I say, I liked it more than City of Brass. Big statement. Amina in general was just a lot more immersive as a world, and it's really like a testament to how much Shannon's writing has grown. We actually did get to interview her for Buttercup Book Club, and that live is on our Instagram pages, so it is a spoiler chat. So if you have read Amina and you want to hear some like background or what questions we asked Shannon, go ahead and check that out. But it was wonderful. 5 stars. It was a great start to the month. Second book I read was A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. So I had read Alison Saft's books before, and none of her books that I've read have lived up to the hype. I've talked about 2 of her books before on like my tier ranking video. I feel like her books for me tend to be a little forgettable, and it was a little disappointing for Down Comes the Night because that was like the big one that I'd seen a lot about. That one for me like did not meet expectations. But I had gotten an arc of her newest book, A Fragile Enchantment, so I wanted to give it a try. I would say least favorite of my Alison Saft books. I don't know, like I just didn't vibe with the main characters as much as this one. Like the other ones, I liked her main characters. This one, I didn't like her main characters at all. So I gave this one 3 stars. Like I said, Alison Saft, her books for me have always just been kind of eh. Her books for me have always been good, but not great, and this one was just below that mark. Oh, I forgot to tell you how many books I read total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I read 8 books. No, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books. I can't count. I read 7 books total in August. Third book I read was The Foxhole Court. So this was really like a random read for me. I had heard a lot about The Foxhole Court, but I never was inclined to pick it up. And then randomly I was scrolling through my Kindle the other day, and it was like free on Kindle, and I was like, okay, if it's free, like let me try it. Like I've heard so much about it, so I went in not knowing much about it, except there's somebody named Neil with orange hair, and they play a game that's like a mix of lacrosse and something else. Those were the only things I knew about this book. That people raved about it. There was a game similar to lacrosse, and somebody named Neil was a ginger. All I know. The book was not meant for me. I didn't like it that much. I think I gave it 3 stars, and I think I'm gonna drop that to like a 2 or 2.5. But it's not like the book was bad. This book is just not for me. The list of trigger warnings is long, and I've heard it only gets longer in the further books. So I think it's just too dark for me, and it's just not the series for me. So I gave it 3 stars. I think I'm gonna drop that to like a 2.5. Because like the other stuff, like the writing and the characters were like fine, but the trigger warnings were too much for me. So definitely look into the trigger warnings. You can find them online very easily. Like I did a quick Google search. You can find a list. Look into it before you read it. I honestly would not recommend this one if you're like me and can't really handle books with like darker themes.
Aww.
Cute. Then the 4th book I read in August was Jade City. This was part of a read-along from official JB reader. I don't know why I can't. So Jade City, so here's the thing. I don't read a lot of adult books tend to be denser, and so I tend to like lose interest sometimes in adult books just because they take a while to get to like a point or a plot. Jade City was definitely dense. I gave this book 4 stars. I enjoyed it. It just took me a while to get through, and I think also for this book I had those like massive expectations, and I feel like that's my own fault, that I have too many high expectations and then I end up being disappointed. So this book was good. Didn't blow me away, but it was good, and I'm definitely picking up the second book. So solid read. I enjoyed it. Very intrigued to see how the next book would go. But this book, it was just slow in the beginning, but there's like a midway point where things start picking up, and then I was like all for it. So hopefully with the next book, because we won't have as much introduction, it'll pick up faster, and I'll just be vibing. And then what number am I on? 5th book I read in August was Duet of the Siren Duke. I didn't like this book. I gave it 3 stars. I'm gonna drop that to 2 stars. I'm so sorry. I like Elise Kova's books. I like her Married to Magic series, which this is a part of. This book did not do it for me at all. Usually I can get behind her books. Like Elise Kova is another one of those authors where her books are usually like good, but never like amazing or great for me. But I usually have a good enough time. This book, I didn't like the main characters enough. I didn't feel like there was enough build up for certain things. And you know when, like, I'm not gonna say that because that's a spoiler. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it this book, and it's just such a shame because I love her Married to Magic novels. I like her books in general. This book just really didn't do it for me. So I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm gonna drop it to 2. It's not like bad. It was a disappointing read, considering I was looking forward to it because I like her books a lot. Okay. I always feel bad giving out bad ratings, but I gotta be honest, you know? I love this thing. This is the Etude Lip Fixing Tint, and I'll link it in the description below. This is one of my favorite purchases. Because also this shade is also just super... I keep dropping stuff. It's super subtle for me. You know? And there's still like a little bit of color. I usually follow this up with like a lip gloss. Makeup influencer. Okay, second to last book I read was Thieves Gambit, and oh my goodness, this book was so good. So it's pitched as Inheritance Games meets Ocean's 11, and I think I talked about this in my I think it was in my last video, anticipated reads for the rest of the year. I'm a big fan. No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's okay. Come here, I'll turn it off. Like I was saying, I'm a big fan of Ocean's 11 and Heist, and this book blew me away. Like, if you like Heist, you need to pick up this book. And hold on, I need to get this pin clip. It's pitched as a thriller. There is a thriller aspect of it, but I'm someone who doesn't really like thrillers, so it wasn't like too much of a thriller for me, because I'm a scaredy cat. So if that's what you're worried about, it wasn't like that thrillery. I don't really know what constitutes a thriller. It's pitched as a thriller, but it's not too much of a thriller that I, as a scaredy cat, was fine reading it. It was fast-paced, exciting. I was like, my heart was pounding. I was on the edge of my seat. It was so good. I'm still thinking about it, but it's like, basically the synopsis of the book is this competition for like a bunch of thieves to compete in and see who the best thief is. So it's just heist after heist after heist, and it is so good. 5 stars. Easily might be one of my top reads of the year. Okay, hijab is on. I do actually, so the thing is with this hijab and the shirt I'm wearing underneath, it slides a lot, and there's a lot of times where like my neck starts showing, so I have to pin my shirt to the hijab, just as a precaution, you know, play it safe. The last book I read in August was Not Your Average Joe, it's a new book. Hasn't come out yet, it's an arc. Basically it is about a girl, Riley Joe, who wants to pursue music, and she goes to a boarding school to do just that in her senior year of high school. And a lot of the book is her like discovering her Asian American identity and where she stands on certain things. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was solid in its like plot, writing and stuff. I do feel like it needed a little more like development. Like things needed to be a little more fleshed out for me. So I'm not Asian, so I can't directly relate to Riley's journey, but I was able to relate to the part of it where she's like going back and forth of, do I want to be like the activist? Do I want to just live my life? And as a fellow minority group in America, it's something I've also dealt with. Like back when I was in high school, I was going through this like, do I want to be like the activist Muslim American, or do I just want to like live my life? And not, because it is a burden to become that person that calls out every instance of Islamophobia and speaks up for everything. It's a burden and it's exhausting. And this was the first time I had seen this topic addressed in a book, like a novel fiction, and I really commend the author for tackling it, and it was done so well. So the book, I think on my end, was solid. It just needed a little more fleshing out and development. And that's my August wrap up. 7 months. 7 books is not bad for a month, but hopefully September holds even more books. Let me know what was your favorite read of the month down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!